Metal Gods Meltdown, and today I am joined by...
My name's Chris Newton, and I'm the drummer of Shadow of Nyx.
And I'm Campbell. I'm the keyboardist of Shadow of Nyx.
First up then, can you give us like a little brief history about your band and why the name Shadow of Nyx?
It's a bit of a interesting story, but it's not very long. Basically, when I came to band, I put this thing together. I was like, you know what? We need to figure out a name because we started getting music together, and I thought we need something that's going to work for the genre we're aiming for. Anyway, so I thought out over about a week, and I wrote down a whole bunch of different names. There was about 5 or 6 different names. And I came to band, and the first one on it was Shadow of Nyx. And everyone there thought, you know what, that's it. That's the one. And it was just, from there on, it was that's what it was.
I don't think we even read out the rest of the names. We just went, we saw the first one with Shadow of Nyx. We all went, yep, that's perfect.
That's what we want.
It suited what we were trying to do with the band. We were all really happy with it. Gave us that sort of gothic, mysterious kind of name that is where we're trying to head with the music, and we're learning. We're getting there. Brilliant.
So the EP's been out a little while, hasn't it? How pleased are you with the responses so far?
Pretty pleased. All of the reviews, all of the feedback we've been getting have been positive.
Well, very exceptional.
Very positive.
You know, like more than I could actually really think. You know, for a band that's just starting, the what's the word? Like the amount of attention we have been getting from places such as yourself, such as Metal Hammer, Grease, like these places I would never in a million years have dreamed to be having interviews about music that we created. Like, it's next level, and to me that's you know, it says something about the music itself.
Like a review in Metal Hammer Grease, that's massive, man. That's really cool.
Oh, yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, I've got it. It's sitting just there. I bought an issue and got it sent to Australia. Yeah. I can't read it. I can't read Greek.
No.
I got one of my Greek friends to translate it for me. It sounds like the interview was pretty positive.
Yeah, it's very, very, very promising.
Yeah.
And I think for what we're creating, it is pushing us into a different field than just performing at pubs and being a local Australian band. Those things you need to do. It's part of how you sort of create your identity. But I think, you know, getting reviews, getting people from the other side of the world, yourself, it's humbling, and it's it's very, very exciting as well at the same time.
And I know for me, you know, talking about when we first put the EP out, I was a bit nervous because I'd never put out a symphonic sort of style album before, and I didn't know if anyone would like it. I thought we'd put out a good product. I was pretty proud with what we'd written and the sound quality we'd managed to get for a first ever release, but it's a first ever release. We didn't have any fans. We didn't have any followers at that time, other than a few locals that had seen us play live. And the response we then got once we did put it out was way bigger than anything I could have hoped for.
Yeah.
It's brilliant, guys. I mean, all of the tracks on the EP will be your babies, but which one is your favourite today and why?
Look, I have a personal favourite, and I'd have to say mine is War of Necessity. I think the way that song goes, it's got so much dynamics in it. It's got so much passion and power in it, and it just gives you a bit of a wake-up call. You know, when we play that song live, people pay attention to it, and I think because of that moment, it grabs you and just really takes you down. So it is, for me, that's my favourite song on the EP.
Don't make me choose.
Cheers.
Waiting, breathing, feeling. It's the weird one of the bunch. It's the less symphonic. Well, it's still symphonic, but it's very piano driven, very almost dance beaty in the chorus, which is what I like about it.
Absolutely, but I mean, bands like Epica and things like that, where I get a lot of my inspirations from, have done things like that. I think that's the beautiful thing about symphonic metal, is it can encapsulate so many different subgenres and genres of different types of metal and bring it all together. Some
Absolutely,
uniform.
guys. Absolutely. I'm glad you're a big Epica fan. Same here, man.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. So would they be like a dream sort of package to go on tour with someone like Epica, Delane?
Yeah.
It'd
Yes,
basically
correct.
be yes. We're doing this no matter what. And look, at some point, I think with any luck, our paths do cross. It would be incredible just to. I mean, I've met them through VIP concert tickets and things like that. And I'd sit down and talk with them. I talked with Arian for a couple of hours before the show, and it was. They're very, very humble musicians, and I think, like if we can achieve anything like that, that'd be sensational, and be able to, perform with that sort of caliber of musician, which I don't think's in the too distant sort of future. Like I think.
Well, we're planning to get over to Europe. Our whole thing was to aim at Europe. That's why we're trying to get into European magazines, European interviews, and all of that. As much as there is a bit of a metal scene down here in Melbourne, Australia, most of it's more death metal, black metal, thrash metal, which is all great. And again, I think you can hear some of that influence coming out in our music, but we definitely made a conscious choice to try and be that more melodic, symphonic, power side of metal that is popular in parts of Europe, and that's where we're aiming it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like mainland Europe more than anything. Belgium, Germany. Yeah, you go down a storm there, guys. So maybe it might be worthwhile sending the CD or EP over to Epica. Like with Delane, you never know.
that would be incredible.
You never know.
Incredible.
You never know. You never know.
Yeah, well, this is true. I mean, everyone's got to start somewhere, and everyone might just go, you know what? I'll put this and have a listen to it. Why not?
So, would you guys be releasing a full album at some stage? Is that the hope?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
We are well on the way to writing that. We've got probably 3 songs done.
Included, yeah. And
a good another 3 or 4 well on the way, aiming for 8 to 10 to 12 total, something like that.
Somewhere in that realm. Depending on the length of the songs, we do have a few songs that are coming that are well over sort of 8 minutes.
Right.
So there's obviously with a song that long, there's a lot of energy and stamina required for those sorts of things,
and a lot goes into the writing, because
Absolutely.
You can't just do an 8-minute song of verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. Everyone will get bored. So if we're pushing to that 8 minutes, like the couple of songs we have pushed to that 8 minutes, we've really tried to change it up and be like, yes, it's an 8-minute song, but there's a reason it's an 8-minute song. We haven't just made it 8 minutes for the sake of it.
Well, you also want to tell a story, and to be able to get that across, you can't have a time restraint on it. Like I think being able to, I think, grab and hold on to people. I think that's super important. Like you can write a 5-minute song or a 3-minute song, and you can grab them and hold them for that long. But for those longer songs, being able to hold them, one song by a band that I get an inspiration from is called "Awakening" by Unleash the Archers, and that song does go for a very long time, but it does not feel that way, because they grab you and keep you there. My favorite bands do a lot of that.
Yeah, fantastic band, absolutely. The album artwork is amazing as well. Sorry, the EP artwork is amazing as well. Do you have that framed at home? Also, you should have your Metal Hammer article framed, I think.
Oh, yeah, we've got both of them. So I've got a big print, big of the artwork from the album, and I've got that on the wall in our recording studio. So we've got a little studio set up for recording our demos and stuff. So we call it Nick's HQ, and we've got posters from gigs we've done. We've got album artwork up there, and that's definitely where the magazine is going to go. Just inspiration to sort of remind us of what we've achieved so far,
and to push us on to bigger and better things. That's the aim.
I've got a cupboard.
Yeah,
my man cupboard.
I love it.
All right. So, what about plans for tours and festivals then? I mean, like you've said, you'd like to get to Europe. You're quite close, well, sort of close to New Zealand. I mean, is that a plan to go over there, something like that?
New Zealand, there is a bit of a following over there, and I think that's because metal is actually starting to take off, and that labels like Nuclear Blast and all that are trying to break this sort of part of the Pacific. Like they're trying to do New Zealand, and there's a band, Alien Weaponry, that just relatively got signed to them, and they're trying to get into Australia, but it's very hard down here because, firstly, we're so isolated because of where we are located in the world,
but even our cities are isolated from each other.
That's right.
Melbourne to Sydney is like 900 k's or something. It's
like it's a day's drive.
It's you can't just
Yeah, not like the UK. Yeah, I mean nine. Yeah. Okay then. So can you then tell us what was the first gig you ever went to?
Went to.
That's a good
question. Mine's really bad.
I feel this.
I mean, mine's not bad. Growing up, I was really into like classic rock and stuff. So I would have been about 14, 13. My dad and I went to a Bon Jovi concert here in Melbourne. That's probably the first gig I ever went to.
I want to. Wow. There was a bunch of festivals way back in the sort of late 90s, early 2000s. And one of them happened to be called Livid, which was a Livid festival. And like they had Linkin Park, they had Evanescence, I believe. There was a whole bunch of different, there was 40, 50 odd bands that were playing there. It was over a course of 3 days or something like that. And I think one of those sorts of concerts was the first, again, it was substantially a bit of time ago, so it was either that or Evanescence. Would have been, that would be the first.
That would have been that gig would have been before I was born.
Probably. I'm showing my age.
Well, show my age, mate. Bon Jovi were like something amazing back in the 80s, honestly.
Yeah, so was Motley Crue. It was like, wow.
Exactly. All right, so then can you tell us what was the last gig you went to, festival, apart from your own?
Knotfest.
Yeah, he went to Knotfest.
So we had Knotfest down here. So we had Slipknot, Parkway, Megadeth, Trivium, and a whole bunch of others that their names are gone.
Amon
Amarth, yada yada yada. That was just the best day. It was incredible.
It would have been. I was so envious. Mine would have had to have been, I think, Epica when they came out for the second time to Australia. It was, it was an honour to meet and talk with them for as long as I did, and have beers and all that sort of, and really enjoy their company and figure out stuff. Like we're just yakking about, we're just talking about daily life things, like just, drums in particular, but can't go past that. I love my drums, but and showing them to people too. Yeah.
Cool. Okay then, so if there was a heavy metal song about yourself, what would it be called?
Wow.
Well, I kind of, a couple of weeks ago, was having one of those days.
He did.
Where just, I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it. And my way of dealing with things is to go and write a song. So I went and wrote a song, start to finish, in about 24 hours. And it's called Expectations. And it kind of is about myself. So I guess I'd call it Expectations.
Cool. Ooh, for myself, there's a few to choose from. Growing up, I probably would have said 18 and Life by Skid Row. I was a bit of a hellraiser. Now I'm not entirely sure. Things change as we get older, I think. So it's hard to pick. But look, I'd probably start with 18 and Life. It's because it very much was something I related to a lot.
Yeah, I would be, mate. Yeah, Youth Gone Wild has always been mine. I mean, I'm an old bastard gone wild now, but yeah. Always been my song, man. All right. If you were a musical instrument, what would you be?
Drums.
Yeah,
So
you
just
would be.
I would be. Everyone does. Love being punished.
If I was a musical instrument, what would I be? That is not a question I ever thought I would be asked.
Timmy would definitely be a mandolin.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Timmy's our guitarist.
Guitarist.
But what would I be? I feel like I'd be like a theremin or something.
I would. Yeah, that's actually quite true.
I think I'm a theremin.
Brilliant, brilliant. So next one then, is there a particular song written by someone else you wish you'd written?
Oh, I think I fall back on my epic roots. I'd have to say probably Second Stone. It's incredible. It really is. It's the way that song just grabs you and just holds onto you. I wish.
See, you took my thing. I was gonna say Essence of Silence, which I think is the next track. It is.
Pretty sure. But yeah.
Right. Brilliant. Okay, so go back to the EP. Can you tell us why we should check it out?
Look, I think what we've sort of managed to do, apart from how it's sort of produced and brought, the sound that we wanted together, I think what we've included, the types of music that we've put on there, we've sort of grabbed a bit of classical, a bit of metal, a bit of sort of that sort of almost, what do you call it? Pop rock. I don't know what you'd call it, but we grab a lot of different sorts of things and sort of bring them to the table. And I think that's one of the positives and the pros of this particular EP, that gives people a bit of variety. Now, obviously, not many people like the same sort of music. Everyone has their own sort of views on that. But we've tried to sort of grab a little bit of each, and I think that opens up our fan base and how we can get people to listen to the music, simply by having that variety and being so versatile. I think that's something that sort of makes Shadow of Nyx.
Yeah, I think we've taken the symphonic metal formula, but we've put, particularly Timmy the guitarist and me, have a lot of like Iron Maiden, Dragon Force kind of melodic twin harmony kind of influences. So we've brought a little bit of that in. Okay, we're doing it keyboard and guitar instead of guitar and guitar, but we've put little specks of other genres into what we're doing, and I think that's, in many respects, that is the symphonic metal genre and progressive metal as a whole. It's metal, but we're putting flares of other things in.
That's what I love about it, mate. Honestly, yeah, you've mixed it all up, absolutely. So then, can you give me 4 words to describe Shadows and Nyx?
Ooh, well,
my questions aren't easy.
No,
not at all.
I appreciate them. I like them. I wasn't prepared for that one. Right, that sort of caught me off guard. What would you think, Cam?
Yeah, don't throw it at me.
Handball.
You can have it right back.
Look, I think there's this sort of an element of darkness. There's an element of sort of metal. There's an element of sort of fluidity, and I would just say, and subtle and melody.
Yeah.
So yeah, fluidity. Oh God, I can't even say that.
You said darkness, metal, fluidity, melody. How about that? We'll use those 4.
Brilliant. That's great. Right, so now it's just 5 questions, either or either. So the first one, festival or small intimate gig?
We always differ on this. I always say festival.
And I always say it's small intimate gig.
It's like...
All right.
There is benefits for both. There really is. And I think, yeah, it's hard to weigh those two together.
Well, I've been lucky enough to have done everything in between. I've done big gigs to 30,000 people. I've done small gigs to 5 people. And as much as the 5 people kind of suck, somewhere in the middle there where you get a nice small venue, 30 people, and you can really see and interact. Sometimes when I've done bigger gigs, 10,000, 30,000, you're so far from the front row on stage. Like, you're up on stage and they've got the barriers and all of that, and it's like the front row is like 5 meters from me, and there's not that connection. As awesome as it is to play to that many people, I love doing stuff like kneeling down and fist bumping the front row and all of that, and you can't do that on the bigger stages.
Absolutely not.
That being said, I wouldn't say no to like a 30,000 people gig. Just
plus.
Brilliant. Okay, so koalas or kangaroos?
Koalas, straight up.
Why do we always differ? Kangaroos, of course.
Because they're related to drop bears, firstly.
Oh, yeah, okay, fine.
So it's like, yeah, so koalas have got to be.
Sure.
Okay. Vinyl or digital?
Vinyl.
Yeah, right. We agree on that one. Vinyl.
Vinyl's beautiful. This is, I still put my records in the LP, and still listen to them. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So, Vegemite or beer?
Beer.
Vegemite.
Really?
Well, I don't drink. So Vegemite.
I drink enough for everyone. This is true.
Yeah, he takes all my drinks.
Done it. Done that.
So the final one, are you saints or sinners?
Sinner. You're a saint.
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah.
You are. Straight up a sinner. There's like 2 ways of it.
Honestly, I think this is why we get on so well.
Could be.
Yeah.
We are total opposites. Our upbringing, our thoughts on life, everything.
Very is a polar.
We keep each other in check.
We try to.
Most of the time.
Do you have any final words for your fans, our viewers and listeners?
Look, I certainly do. I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone, yourself, all the people that are included in making this happen. That's it. That's the fans. That's the people. That's, all the management behind these sorts of things. The people you don't see. I think it's very important that those people get a thank you, and, the PR firms, the people that do the production of music, with respect of ours, but I just want to say thank you to every single person that gets a chance to, because that's another person that we have reached, and
Absolutely.
And I'd just like to say, thank you to all the fans and the listeners. At the end of the day, we're not making music for no one to listen to it. We're making music for people to listen to. It's theirs to listen to. It's not ours. We're not cradling it here. We want it out there. We want people enjoying it. The more people listen to it, the more satisfaction we get.